Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
That's so corny.
Howdy.
Just saying howdy.
Say hello. Long time no see. So, big life update. We stopped filming for, was it 6 months?
I don't even know anymore.
When we went back to Texas, it was October, so we stopped filming then. We didn't really know how long we were going to be in Texas, or what was going to happen. We basically went back for me to be able to work and shoot sessions for clients, which we did. Hoping in that amount of time, a job opportunity would come open for Jason, and unfortunately it did not. And so we went to Corpus.
Well, we ended up going to Corpus.
Want to come closer?
So we ended up going to Corpus because my parents still live there, and I was going to go to work with my dad doing construction and remodeling. So
He owns his own business.
Yeah, my dad owns his
He's a
own business
contractor.
there. And when did we go there? It was like the end
November.
of
November, when I was done shooting sessions in Austin.
So we were there for about a month. I was working with him, still applying for jobs, and
Like vigorously, like
oh yeah, all the time.
5 to 10 a day. Like it was a lot. My full-time job was helping you to find a job, like scouring through the internet and job search sites and things like that. So like I took that on as my full-time job while you were working with your dad, and then you would come home late at night and put out resumes and put in applications. It was also a huge adjustment time then because I was on my own with the kids for the first time in 2 years with Zachary, and it was a huge adjustment for us. Unfortunately, the site that we landed at was complicated. We were out on a military base, which is complicated to come and go kind of as it is. But Jason's family couldn't come out and visit or help or pick up a couple of the kids and go do something with them. It was really hard. The other thing is it was very windy. The entire time we were there, it was like, there were days we had 70 mile per hour wind gusts. There were days where it was just like 50 mile an hour per winds all day long. There were sticker burrs outside everywhere, so it was hard for the dogs to go out. The kids couldn't go outside and play. It was just like a really sticky, salty air, and it was miserable. The site that we had was miserable. Finding sites in Corpus at all can be difficult, especially during the winter months. So we didn't really have a lot of options and a lot of choices. And while we loved being near Jason's family, it was a hard stay because of the site and just the situation was really, really stressful. So then we went back to Austin. Did we go back to Austin for me to work? I think we did.
I don't remember.
I think I booked some
We
more
were
sessions.
there around October for you to work, and then I think we went over to what is it?
We were in
north
Corpus.
of Houston.
No, we
the
were
Woodlands.
we were in Corpus for a couple of months.
No, we went to the Woodlands first.
We went to the Woodlands first, and then we went to
And I
Corpus for
tried
a couple of
doing
months.
Lyft.
Yes,
I did Lyft. Stupid. For what, like a week?
it was awful
I think it was like a week.
because
I
we did their rental car program where you rent a
15
car
15 rides.
and then you have to do so many rides to pay for the rental, and then anything after that. And it was like a lot of drunk people.
It's very interesting.
It was not a good experience at all, but he was just trying to do everything that he could to get us through. For some reason, we went back to Austin. I think it was so that I could work. I think I booked some sessions. And then you got a job offer. It was for a job in Denver, and it was not remote, so it would have meant that we would live in Denver.
Yeah, we had to move to Denver And so that was going to be difficult because it was wintertime, and there was a lot that we were looking at as far as campgrounds. We couldn't really find a campground that we would be able to get into.
The one
So we were
that-
looking
yeah.
at rentals like Airbnb or something for a while.
Or just a
And
rental.
those were really expensive
Were really expensive.
for that area.
So it was good money, but when you added in the cost of living,
it didn't make sense.
it didn't make a lot of sense. And we felt kind of a sense of panic and that we needed to do something quickly. And it felt really hard to turn that down. In fact, that's probably one of the first times you and I, in 16 years of marriage, have really not agreed about our life path. It was difficult. But in the end, Jason decided not to take that job.
Yeah.
And in the end, I'm really relieved that you didn't, because what was it, a few weeks later? Maybe
Yeah.
a month later?
It was a few weeks later. I had a headhunter call me about a position that they had available, and
About 2 positions.
that just 2 positions.
Yeah, he wanted you to interview
and that
for
really
both.
it clicked right away.
Like, you were
with
perfect
him.
for it.
Yeah, the position and with the headhunter, and it was.
They
just
hadn't
really
even
good.
put up a listing yet. Like, they found you and your resume on Indeed and were like, hey, we think you're perfect for this. And he was like,
Yep.
everything-
Interviews went really well, and so everything went smooth with that, and ended up getting offered the job with them, and it's with a really great company.
yeah.
And it was. I
It's
was
so-
able to do it remotely. It's a remote
Yes,
position, so
which
that
is
was
awesome. We
yeah,
could
that
still
was-
travel. They were super supportive of that. Like, didn't bat an eye at it. In fact, a couple of them were like, "Why don't I do that?" And it's such a great company, and it's such a good fit for you, and it's way better than the job that you got laid off from.
Yeah.
It's way better, and so it was a huge relief to us because it came at a really great time, and it's a really great fit, and they've treated him so well. How long have you been with them now?
I think
4
almost
months?
4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is that once we knew that was going into place, we started heading over to Lindsay's mother's house. We were going to be there for a couple of weeks.
We were like, hey, you know what? It would make her really happy if we went to go see her before we got back on the road for the year. We
Yeah.
were like, whew, okay, we have a job. It's remote. It's going to be an adjustment, but we can figure this out. We can get back on the road after being still for over 4 months.
And I knew that I was going to have an orientation for like a week with this company when I first started, and it was going to line up right at the right time. And they had an office in Pensacola, which is really close to Orange Beach. And
Where my mom lives.
So I thought that was going to be great.
Like, yeah,
to be able to do
that's-
that there. And then halfway to Orange Beach, I don't know if we were in Louisiana, I think. I talked with one of the managers there, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna fly you over to Denver, because that's the office where we're gonna set everything
We
up
keep
from." And I
getting
was like,
pulled
"Wait
to
a minute,
Denver."
what's going
Yeah,
on
what-
with Denver here?"
And you were
So-
like, oh, I'm going to near Pensacola. And they're like, oh, never mind. We'll just do it there.
So
Like,
it turns out the woman who was going to do my orientation, she was actually in the Pensacola office, and then they were going to fly both of us to Denver to meet some of the team over there. And she was like, "Yeah, never mind. We'll just do it in
just do
Pensacola.
it
That's
here.
fine."
She was happy to not have to travel.
Yeah.
Like, you were coming to them. So, I mean, it's like with this job, it's like every single time he talked to him, it got better and better. Like the way they were treating him, the benefits package, the vacation, like everything, it just got better and better. And I'm so glad that you held out for this,
Yeah,
because
it
it's
ended up working
literally a perfect fit for him, and he's really happy with the work that he's doing. And it's been really amazing. So we were thrilled that it was remote, because that meant we got to get back on the road. We would have to slow down a little bit and not move as quickly as we did in the first 2 years, and it definitely changed the way that we travel, because we could only move on weekends. So we knew that was going to be an adjustment, but we were just so thankful to be able to get back on the road again. That was fine. Like, we would make that work
It's been an adjustment, but
for sure.
we knew that was gonna
sure.
change some.
Yeah.
But
Change our lifestyle and how it felt, and when we could move, and kind of how much flexibility we had. But we decided we were going to go over and see my mom before we took off for the year. And we were supposed to be there for 2 weeks. And we got there, and it ended up being 2.5 months, 10 weeks, because of COVID-19.
Way more than anybody did.
My mom got way more than she bargained for when we landed in her driveway.
In so many ways.
In so many ways. She was very happy to have us. She was very, very graceful host. But it was way more than any of us planned. So we put in a partial hookup in her driveway, crossing our fingers that we would actually even fit.
Yeah.
We didn't know that we would fit before we got there. She took some tree limbs out. We fit like a glove in that driveway.
It was actually a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, but we made it work. So we had water and electric, and then we could go over to her house and take showers, and we cooked over there a lot on our grill. We brought our grill over there. So she loved it because she had a live-in chef for 2.5 months to cook for her because she could just eat with us. It was great for the kids because even during quarantine, we still felt like we got to go somewhere. We could go to her house and spread out. The boys, even on rainy days, could run around on her 2,000 square foot porch. She has an amazing beach house in Orange Beach. And it just let us feel like we were going somewhere. We weren't all cooped up in 400 square feet for 10 weeks when we couldn't move, we couldn't go outside. A lot of campgrounds were shut down. Even to go outside was a challenge during that time frame. So we really feel lucky that we just happened to land there during all of this. Very thankful to her for putting up with us for 10 weeks instead of 2. But I also, I think it was good for her because it was a distraction. My mom is not a sit-at-home retiree. She would have been completely bored out of her mind without the kids and us there to play games and kind of keep her busy. And she's an artist, and so she has an entire garage full of art supplies. So the kids were like in hog heaven with that. They were doing arts and crafts every day. They used her entire supply of paint. She didn't care though. She was just happy that they were busy and having something to do. So once things started to open back up a little bit, it was really hard to navigate when to get back on the road. I think that looked different for every full-time family, but for us, it was about the 10-week mark, knowing that we were going to be basically moving from spot to spot, not doing a whole lot or interacting with a lot of people. Grocery store runs and hikes in nature and things like that. When we decided to get back on the road, we completely changed our route. We were supposed.
A lot of people change their routes.
I think everyone changed their routes.
We usually change what we're doing and stuff.
We do.
This was our
plans are pretty fluid, but
yeah, this was a pretty big change because the places that we wanted to go weren't really open yet.
Yeah.
So and it was also looking at how those states or counties even
what their regulations were.
Yeah.
A lot of full-time families went to South Dakota because they were completely open. And in retrospect, I'm really glad we didn't do that because it is now extremely full. So we changed our route. We, instead of zigzagging up the middle, decided to go back across the panhandle through Arkansas, Oklahoma, panhandle of Texas. Quick one-night stay in Santa Fe that resulted in a breakdown.
Oh man.
Our first breakdown of the year.
The short travel days eat our lunch.
They do.
Like every time
I'm not planning them anymore.
If it's like an
long
hour
travel days or nothing.
Or something to get to the next campground.
Something always happens.
Something always happens. I don't know why.
But we were supposed to be in Santa Fe for one night, and we ended up being there for a week. That was our first breakdown after getting back on the road. And then Santa Fe was a mess. New Mexico was a mess because it was still very much closed down. There was a lot of fear there.
Is that where the woman was yelling at everybody?
Yeah.
She was yelling at everybody.
So a woman really afraid in Walmart. It was very sad.
Stay away and keep their distance.
Stay away and keep their distance. It was just the atmosphere was very different there than when we were in Alabama or even Arkansas, Oklahoma. The atmosphere was just really, really different. It was really hard for us to be there. I knew New Mexico was still, a little bit different than the other states we had been in, but I was like, oh, we're just going to be there one night, and then we got stuck there for a week. So that was a challenge because it was basically, we went back into quarantine for a week. Kids stayed inside and played Legos every day. We didn't even go outside. And then we were supposed to be in Pagosa Springs, but we skipped that and stayed in Santa Fe for the week. And then we went up to Gunnison. So I think that's where we kind of picked up filming again, because we took 6 months off from filming just because we had like 4 really hard months of looking for work and struggling and figuring life out. Getting settled into the new job was a big challenge. Just me taking care of everybody again on my own was a big challenge. And then right when we were about to start filming again, COVID-19 and quarantine hit, and it was just all about getting through quarantine and keeping everyone busy and entertained and just kind of survival mode, which I think a lot of families went into. I don't think we're alone in that by any stretch.
It feels like October through March or April was so much about just getting through every day.
Just survival.
Yeah, survival.
Which is interesting because like 2019 was so hard for us that we were like, 2020 has got to be easier, and then 2020 it's like, what?
I don't even know what to say about this year.
We're really happy now, though, to be back on the road. So we're going to pick back up filming with Gunnison National Park, Black Canyon at Gunnison in Colorado. And so our plan for this year is, what are we doing? We're doing Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, a tiny little sliver of Washington State, and then we're going back to Idaho, back to Utah, and then Colorado before we head back to Texas for me to work in the fall. So that's kind of our plan. It was supposed to be like 15 states this year, so we really trimmed it down, and we were like, okay, last year was hard. We had some great experiences, but last year was really hard. Where can we go that we're gonna be happy? Like, let's not travel to the map. Where can we go that's gonna make us happy? And so those are the states that we chose, even though we've already done most of them already, or all of those.
Well, we're only adding one new state
all year, and that was Oklahoma.
Which is odd because it was just right north of Texas.
We've been to Oklahoma before. We just didn't put it on our map because we hadn't been there in this RV on this trip. There's still so much for us to see in these states that we're in, that even though we've been here, there's still so much to experience. Pay attention. What are you doing?
They're interesting over there.
Okay, there's still a lot for us to see. Like, we've only done 2 state parks in the entire state of Utah. So I'm really excited. We have Yellowstone and Glacier and Arches and Canyonlands. We've got some really exciting stops this year. So that's exciting. We're happy to be back on the road, but we kind of knew we needed to do a big life update because so much has happened, and we took 6 months off from filming, and it's just we're ready to pick it back up. And
I'm sure we have some video. We could probably do like a quick highlight.
Nah, I'm just gonna drop video in over
Christmas
we're talking
and
right
New
now.
Year's.
Christmas, New Year's.
A lot of video of your mom's house.
I didn't take a lot. I pretty much set my camera down for weeks at a time while we were there, which honestly was kind of nice because then I didn't have to worry about a lot of editing. So it's been a long, hard 6 months, and we're really relieved to be back on the road and finding our rhythm again with moving, and happy that we didn't have to give up this lifestyle and take that job in Denver or any other job that would have put us back into a house, because even though we said we were going to do this for a year, we're about to hit 3 years. We'll hit 3 years in the fall, and this is still what we want. This is still what we love. So, right?
Yeah, we know there's been a lot of families that have struggled the last couple of months, and they've decided to quit living this lifestyle and they've rented a house or went and bought a house. And
It was hard during quarantine to be a full-time
Yeah.
family because you may have landed somewhere you didn't want to be. That's hard. That's really hard in a small space when you're used to going out exploring every couple of days and suddenly you can't.
yeah, we got lucky being where we were with her mom. Couldn't imagine what it would be like if we were in a campground
That we hated.
and
Yeah.
that was really strict. We heard where they wouldn't let you go outside of your site unless you were wearing a mask.
Even
Kids
then,
couldn't go outside.
only if you could go to the grocery
So
store.
that was-
You could go outside to go to the grocery store and that was it. And that's hard.
Really
So
make you
hard.
question whether that's
Yeah.
where you should be or not.
Whether you should put it in storage and just settle
Yeah.
down for a little while till things blow over. And I think a lot of families did that. And I don't blame them. That's super, super hard. But I think a lot of families are back on the road. Some settled down, but a lot of them are back on the road and we're meeting other full-time families while we're on the road, and that's always a good thing. Yeah, we're supposed to be back in Texas in October and November, and then our plan right now is to spend Thanksgiving with Jason's family like we usually do, and then we're going to hightail it over to Sedona for the holidays. And then from there, we're not really sure. We were talking about whether or not we're going to go to California or not, and I think that just kind of depends on what the status of things with COVID-19 are. Maybe we'll just go up to the Oregon coast next spring and summer and just hang out up there. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Our plans are always kind of fluid and they're always changing, but
Still, we definitely have some states that we haven't been to yet,
yes.
but we like Pacific Northwest area, so
Yeah, we do like it up there. My brother's there, or some of our friends are up there, so
yeah.
it would be nice to go back and spend spring and summer there, but I don't know. Right now, we only have reservations through the holidays at Sedona, so that's anything after that is super fluid at this point. But can we go inside? I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes.
Yeah,
All right,
bit my
so
butt.
they do not need to know that.
You can cut it out.
Oh no, this is going to be the intro now. You give me good footage like that. So we would love it if you would keep watching. We have some video coming up. We did shoot a tiny little bit around the boys' birthdays before we went to my mom's. So those will be our next couple of videos. Jude and Zachary's birthdays at Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas. Look at the camera. Stop fiddling with stuff. Oh my God. You're so gross. Stop. Why do I feed you beans on travel days? Okay.
On video days.
So we have 2 videos coming up of the boys' birthdays. Jude's 12th birthday and Zachary's 3rd birthday when we were in Glen Rose, Central Texas, at Dinosaur Valley State Park, which was a really cool stop. That was way cooler than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like some cheesy thing, but the kids loved it. Stay tuned for those 2 videos, and lots of great Colorado stuff coming up after that too. So thanks for watching.
Later, y'all.
Thanks for following along. I'm using the fart, just so you know.